And so I don't know what the future holds with either the Ariel Austin brand, um, with the city of Austin, with anything, right? And none of us know what the future holds. And I think the last few years should have proved that to us. Have you ever found yourself staring at the mirror and not being happy with the person who's staring back at you? Maybe it's because you're not at a place where you feel like you should be in life, or you haven't achieved this dream or this goal that you set out for yourself. Man, I know that's me so much. You know what I mean? I catch myself often scrolling through my phone, just comparing myself to other photographers and videographers and content creators, thinking to myself, because I'm not physically there where they're at, or I'm not editing the way they edit, or working with the clients they're working with, or making the money they're making, that I'm just not good enough. And I've felt that way for so long. Um, but so many things changed this year. And going back on a lot of the footage and a lot of the videos and just a lot of the memories that I have been a part of in 2023 has really given me the momentum that I need to go into 2024. I really think it started with the Austin Marathon. All right, we're getting to the finish line. We are about to wrap it up. The feeling of running a marathon was completely alien to me, something I've never done. And even physically, I've never pushed myself to do something like that before. But I was in a place at that time where I was like, man, I want to do something. I want to challenge myself in some way that I hadn't done before or hadn't done in a long time. And so running a marathon to me was a really good way of doing it. And I remember even the day before the marathon started, working out and feeling an injury, like I pulled a hamstring or something, and I wasn't really able to walk that well that day. So I had to rest a lot. And even going into the marathon the following day, thinking to myself, like, man, if I just run the half marathon, maybe that'd be good enough. But then I remember getting yards away from the finish line and thinking to myself, you have just completed a marathon without training for it as well as you should, and with being injured at the same time. And just a whole sense of emotion came over me, and tears started welling up because it was like, wow, I cannot believe I did this. And every time I tell people the story of me running the marathon, often I get told, your body may not have been ready, but your mind was. And so finishing the Austin Marathon really gave me a boost to start off 2023. And it also gave me the boost to do something that I wasn't really too vocal about, even though I really wanted to talk about it more on social media. But I was able to complete a body transformation in 6 months. Now, at this point in my life, Jordan is already about 14, 15 months old, and I felt like I needed to get myself back into a physical shape that I want him to know me as. Like, when I think about what I want Jordan to be as a man when he grows up, how can he be that unless I model that for him? And I don't just mean in success, I don't just mean in relationships, I don't just mean financially, I also mean physically. Like, I want to be a physical representation of what it looks like to be a man so that Jordan could also model that physical representation. I want him to pursue living a healthy life, living an active life, and living a fit life. But how can I preach that to him unless I practice? And so that really motivated me to start this 6 month body transformation. After the marathon, I really want to take on another big task, and I want to accomplish a really big goal for myself. So I reached out to Coach Garrett here to pretty much do a complete body transformation. We're going to change completely how I look. So let me know how that's going to go.
So yeah, we just sat down and probably chatted kind of for an hour about his plan, kind of what it's going to take to get him to where he wants to be in the amount of time that he wants to do it, and the commitment. Can he commit to something like that? Juggling a dad, being a husband, running a successful career. He's all on board. So in that case, when I get the green like that, I'm going to give him a blueprint that's sometimes to the average person extremely unrealistic, but when someone's committed and driven at this kind of standpoint, you give him the blueprint, you tell him exactly what to do. But again, you also have to change as his body changes and give him the right coaching so he doesn't give the dreaded P word, the plateau that most people occur after a month or 2 or 3 months of hard, vigorous work, or they just wreck themselves eventually and get hurt. So that's where I come in. I've sat down with him, I've dissected his lifestyle, I've dissected his goals. I've dissected what he can and can't commit to the program right now, and also his imbalances, his
Mhm.
deviations, his genetics do play a role. And so when we
Yeah.
create this program based off all these variables, that's program design,
Mhm.
and that's why I think you're going to be wowed here in the next 3 to 6 months on what this guy is going to look like when the finished product comes. But it also, most importantly, educating him on so he can be dad and be involved in his kids' lives as he gets older,
Yeah.
so his body doesn't break, and so he has the energy to still keep up with the kiddos as we get older in life.
But after completing this 6-month body transformation and seeing what I was able to put my body through, not just for a few hours like in the marathon, but for 6 months, it really gave me a change in the perspective of myself. You see, I think I really struggle with patience. Like, I want things done quick. And I think we all do, right? Living in the world that we live in today, living in the kind of atmosphere and culture that we live in today, it's very easy to want and demand things instantly, right? You want a movie, you just should click a button and it comes on. You want a package, you just pay for it and it should be at your door the next day. So, as people, we want results and we want things to happen quickly, but at the same time, that's not the way real life works. And so putting myself into this body transformation really allowed me to not just test myself mentally, which was something that was really good for me at the time, but also physically. Like, what could my body do, right? I turned 37 years old this year, and I feel like I have a limited view on what my body could do. And so for me, I'm like, what can my body do? Like, I didn't think my body was able to run a marathon, and it did. I didn't think my body was able to do so many things, but in doing this body transformation, I was able to see, like, man, I'm much faster than I thought I was. I'm much stronger than I thought I was. I'm much more nimbler and have better balance. And there's so many things that I thought to myself, like, I'm 37. I probably lost all of these abilities and things that I can do. And no, no, I could still do, if not, I could do things way better than I did when I was in my 20s. And so for me, completing this body transformation, again, it wasn't just the physical ability or looking physically the way that I wanted to that was going to be the big impact, although that's a positive, but it was also the mental, right? Like working out every day, 6, 7 days a week for 2 hours a day at 3 or 4 in the morning for 6 months nonstop. Like, when I think of this, I think this is normal, right? I think waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning is normal. And then when I talk to normal people, they tell me I'm crazy. And so, again, going on in this body transformation, it's like, hey, you need to be the abnormal person in your normal group so that people who look at things in a normal kind of way will understand sometimes to get the thing you really want, you need to go outside your comfort zone. You need to be abnormal, you need to be superhuman to do the things that are hard for you to do. Because the person that you are right now may not be able and capable to do the things that you want to do. But the person who you push outside of that comfort zone will be the person who's going to achieve the things that you've always wanted to achieve. And so going through this path month after month, waking up, whether it was days where I was sick, right? I think for almost a week I had the flu and I was still working out and I was still getting my cardio in. For multiple times, I was traveling and I was going to other places in Texas and I was driving to places and doing so many things where I thought to myself, like, am I going to be able to get this workout in? And also having a coach like Garrett who I could reach out to and text and let him know, like, hey, the next week I'm going to be traveling. I don't know if I could keep this diet. I don't know if I could do these workouts. And he's able to respond like, okay, just take some bands with you or look for a gym or, eat this and do this. It was a really big help in the times where I was struggling with wanting to continue with the transformation. But from beginning to end, I was so, so happy with the way that I looked. And even there's multiple times where we would be out in Austin and it was a beautiful day and I would take my shirt off. And I'm not that kind of guy. Like, I'm not the kind of guy who wants to take his shirt off. And even if we're in the pool, I'll keep my shirt on. But I found myself as the months were going on, like, I like the way I looked. I like the way clothes felt. I like the way I looked with my shirt off. And so we would take Jordan out to the park and I'll take my shirt off because I wanted to have a tan. But I was also more confident in the body that I was in, and that was a really, really good, solid thing for me to do because now it's also giving me the tools to do this throughout my entire life. We've been over the body transformations for about 3, 4 months now, and I still wake up every day around 4 in the morning, and I still get a 2 hour workout in where it's almost formatted the same way that I've been doing it for the last 6 months. And so being able to lay the foundation this year for the next 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years is something that I had to make the choice and do. And I think that's another difficult part. It's you not only need to make the choice, but then you need to act on that choice that you've just made. And so it was one thing for me to be like, hey, Garrett, let's do this body transformation. But it was also like waking up every day, going to the gym every day, counting my macros, eating the right foods, making sure that my cheat meals were regulated on my heavy lifting days. So many things went into this that, again, maybe in 2024, I can break down more of my workouts and do more of that kind of stuff for you guys. But the body transformation was by far another thing that happened this year that blew me away and really kind of set the standard for myself on what I can do. Also, as many of you know, this year I actually had my first ever art gallery event, and it was such a great event. We had so many people show up, we had so many people buy my work, we had a lot of people donate a lot of good things. Topo Chico, Austin Eastsiders, Treaty Oak. We had Matt from Smoke Game Strong, Justin Langston. We had Augustine Tash. It was a packed house of awesome people. And the reason this was another motivator was mainly because a few weeks, I think, before, or a few months before this happened, I had released a video talking about how I felt like a fraud photographer. I always cornered myself into videography. I love doing video and creating videos. And so photography was just the one thing that I knew I wasn't really good at. But once we started printing my work and I saw my work on canvases, on metal prints, it really motivated me to take my photography serious. And so then when I got the opportunity to host my own art gallery event, man, I was just on top of the world, to be honest with you, because that was something that it wasn't just me saying, hey, look how good my artwork is. It was Art Direct willing to say, hey, we want to give you the wall space for the entire month of October to show off your artwork. And so, not only having confidence in myself, but having other brands and other companies show that same confidence in my work. That became another confidence booster because it wasn't me boasting or bragging on myself. It was other people saying, look at how dope his work is, and we're working with him. You know what I mean? And so that was something else that just kind of set the tone for this year of like, man, I never thought I would have my own art gallery event. So what for next year, right? And so again, starting with the Austin Marathon, going on with the body transformation, doing the art gallery, like that has been a year of just so much jam packed things that I did not ever think were going to be associated with me. And along all of that journey was other smaller events of just things that I, right? Like, so certain gear that I was able to buy and use, and certain companies and brands that I was able to work with, and so many clients that ended up hiring me because of my presence on social media. And even that, right? My growth on social media. I think I started off this year with maybe around 20 some thousand or something like that. And I think we're going to end the year with 36,000. And so, the growth and just the love and support and everything that's gone on this year, not just the big milestones, but even the small blessings, the small trickling goodness of glory that was a part of every single day of this year. I cannot explain how excited I am to go into 2024. And I thought that was going to be the end of the year, ending with these kind of good news, right? Like, that's not a bad thing. Um, but there is a bonus good news, I guess we can say. And we are welcoming another baby to this world. I didn't think I was gonna get emotional over this one. Pregnant? No way. Ready, bud? Jordan, look over here. All right, in the count of three, everybody say, Alyssa's pregnant.
Alyssa's pregnant!
All right, in the count of three, everybody say, Alyssa's pregnant. In the count of three, everybody say, Alyssa's pregnant.
What?
All right, in the count of three, everybody say, Alyssa's pregnant.
What? What?
Alyssa's pregnant.
I can't. For real? For real?
Yeah.
Oh.
On top of every success that I've had this year and the last few years, on top of all the good things that are happening, and on top of just living in what I think is the greatest city in the world, being a husband and being a father is by far the best decision I've ever made in my life. I'm excited to share with everybody that we're having another baby, and we don't know what the future holds overall. Like, as many of y'all know, kids really change your world in ways that you never expected. And so I don't know what the future holds with either the Ariel Austin brand, with the city of Austin, with anything, right? And none of us know what the future holds. And I think the last few years should have proved that to us. But I think the one thing that I'm walking away from 2023 with and 2024, I'm walking into is you're never too old to dream new dreams. You're never too inexperienced. You're never too far away to reach the mountaintop. And whatever that mountaintop looks like for you, whatever that limit, whatever that goal, whatever that dream it feels like you haven't achieved, it doesn't mean that it's over. And it doesn't mean that you have to stop. It just means that you need to keep going. And that goal is a little bit further than you expected. Maybe you got to climb a little bit more to get there. And maybe you need help, right? Maybe you've been doing this alone and you need people around you to help you and motivate you and boost you to reach that goal. And I think that's what I've loved so much about being on social media and posting these videos on YouTube, and just a lot of what I get to do is, despite all the bad comments, despite all the negative comments, and despite all the hateful comments, the people who like and subscribe and comment and message and share, and hire me because of what I do, they're the people who really help me get to where I want to go in life. Because there's many times where I feel like I'm not where I should be in life. And then I get messages asking me, like, can you teach me? Can you this and can you that? And you're this and you're that. And I'm just like, I don't think that at all. But if you guys think that about me, well then let me keep going. Let me keep pushing. Let me keep fighting. Let me keep going and see how high I can get. And whenever I get there, I want to bring as many people along with me. So here is to 2023. Thank you for all the encouragement, all the blessings, all the good things that you've provided. See y'all next year.